Hi everybody, welcome back to Paleo Cooking Live. Today we have all treats, no tricks. I thought I'd show you some fun paleo Halloween dessert ideas and a couple of fun snacks that I've reimagined from the old days when my kids were little and we trick-or-treated every year. Halloween was a big holiday for us. We used to have so much fun planning costumes and decorating the house, and all the neighbors came to our house after trick-or-treating for donuts and hot dogs simmered in beer. So I've kind of cleaned that up a little bit. The first thing I want to show you today is a paleo dessert that is a baked donut. And I'm starting with the dry ingredients that I already have here in this bowl. So this is 1.5 cups of almond flour, 1/4 cup of tapioca flour, I knew that. I've got some baking soda, salt, and my pumpkin spice blend, which I showed you last week. It's just a combination of cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, and ground ginger. And I just mix this up and keep it anytime I want to do something that has that pumpkin flavor. You can also just use pumpkin pie spice or create your own combination. So all of these dry ingredients are already in here. The next thing I have is 3/4 cup of organic pumpkin. Just going to put that into this bowl. And this is so simple. You can use a mixer if you like to use a mixer, but I don't think you need to. It mixes very well just like this with a spatula. I've got 1/4 cup of maple syrup, so that's the only sugar until we get to the frosting. The glaze is rather sweet, but I'll show you why it's still paleo. I'm just gonna mix those up together, just like that, to get combined. And again, you can use a hand mixer or a stand mixer if you prefer to do it that way. If you're doing a big batch, it's sometimes easier to use a mixer. I'm gonna break 2 eggs. Sometimes I like to add them one at a time, but since this is so simple, I'm just gonna blend those right in. I used to make a donut called a New England cruller, which was basically a cake donut. It didn't have yeast, so it wasn't a raised donut. And I would fry it in Crisco. Can you imagine? I've really cleaned up my act. So you can see this is nice and blended together now. Doesn't take any effort at all. And I'm adding some organic vanilla. And this is another one of those private label items from Thrive Market that I have discovered to be such wonderful quality. It's organic, it's pure, it's sourced from Madagascar. About 1/2 cap. It's gonna be about 1/2 teaspoon. And add that right into the wet ingredients. And now I'm gonna go wet to dry. So I already have my dry here, and I'm just gonna add the wet. This bakes up great as a muffin, or actually on my website, I have it as a pumpkin hazelnut loaf, and it's great in a little loaf pan, mini loaf pan, or a big loaf pan. It's so flexible. It's just one of those really great quick bread type recipes that comes together super simple. It's healthy because of the non-grain flours. It's low calorie because of the sugar only being maple syrup. And that's the batter. So simple. Now I'm gonna get my donut pan. This is just a non-stick donut shaped pan, and it works out great for baking. Switch those. And I'm just gonna give it a little quick spray with avocado oil spray. Again, I don't like to use those canola oil sprays. Try and stay away from seed oils as much as possible because of the way they're processed. Really not good stuff. And I'm gonna use my trusty portion scoop. The blue scoop is about 2 ounces, and it makes just the right amount for each donut here. I'm just putting it right over that center point And then we'll just clean that off, and these will bake right up like adorable little yummy donuts. And you can see this recipe is going to yield about 6. I used to work for an Italian pastry chef who, if he found a bowl in the dish area that looked like this with just a little bit left in it, he would bring it back and make you scoop it out, and he would say, "That's another 50 cents." I love you, Nick. It's going in my sink anyway. Now I'm just going to use my spatula to sort of wipe away that center point. I like them to stay a little mounded, so I'm not going to touch the batter a lot, but just enough to get that cleaned off so when they rise, they have a nice little donut hole. And these are going to go in the oven for about 14 minutes. And I'm going to put these in the oven. I'll clean that off a little bit. And I'll be right back. You can follow me now to the oven. See, I have a new device for my camera that tracks my every move. I can't get away with anything anymore. I'm going to set this for 13 minutes, and then we can always add more time if we need to. Now I'm going to grab the ingredients for my hot dogs wrapped in bacon. You're not going to believe this one. I'll be right back. This is such a fun recipe, and I love having this cleaned up version. I'm going to show you how this works. First of all, I have bacon from Butcher Box, which of course I've been buying everything, all my meats from Butcher Box lately, and they're so delicious. Let me grab my cutting board. The quality is excellent. Let's turn myself down over here. And the uncured hot dogs, they're made with grass-fed beef and pastured pork, no nitrates or nitrites, no fillers, nothing terrible added. I'm going to turn my pan on just to let it preheat a little bit. I'm going to start with 1 piece of bacon and 1 hot dog. This isn't even a recipe. This is just a 1 piece of bacon and 1 hot dog for every portion. And you can even cut these in half if you decide you'd rather serve a mini version like an appetizer. Just gonna lay the bacon flat and start on one end, wrap it around, and the nice thing about the bacon is the fat helps it stick together. And I'm just gonna roll that up. So it completely encases the hot dog. You could call these mummy dogs if you wanted. Maybe I'll change the name on the website. That just occurred to me. Kind of like it. And you can see that this bacon from Butcher Box is sliced nice and thick. And again, no crazy additives, no sugar. It's just a very good quality pork. See how easy that is? You can do these in advance and put them in the refrigerator, and they'll hold together even better if you give them a chance to just kind of chill. I'll do one more, and I think my pan is getting hot. And you don't need any additional cooking fat because the bacon will render out its own fat and work out to be the perfect amount. You can even save the bacon fat. I'm just going to put those right into the pan, and you can hear them sizzle right away. Now, hot dogs, of course, are already cooked, so you don't have to do anything to make sure the hot dogs are cooked through. You just want them to be warm. I'm going to wrap all of this back up. And we're going to serve these street food style. So I'll show you how that goes as soon as these are all plated up. I've got some sriracha. This is my favorite sriracha. It's sweetened with dates. It's by a company called Yellowbird. It's organic. It has just enough spice without making you totally blow the top of your head off. And I've made my Asian coleslaw. And we're gonna serve the bacon wrapped hot dogs with the Asian coleslaw. The ingredients for this is really simple. It's apple cider vinegar, some, let me show you, coconut aminos. This is the wasabi coconut aminos from New Primal. Excellent, and that wasabi gives it a nice little extra something. Some avocado oil mayonnaise, which I buy from Chosen Foods. It's also available at Costco. A little bit of sesame oil, a little bit of fish sauce, which I like to balance out the sweetness of the coconut aminos. Some fresh ginger, which I grated right into the pre-shredded coleslaw mix. I just bought the coleslaw mix in a bag, and I just stir it all together. And it will wilt on its own because of the acids that help break down the cabbage. And let me grab some tongs so I can show you how these guys are coming along. They're not quite ready to turn, so we'll let them go just a little bit longer. I'm going to put these things away, and I'll be right back. So when I said that I really like this donut recipe, but of course, what's a donut without glaze, right? So I'm making a glaze with monk fruit sweetener. Let me show you the bag. It's going to be this monk fruit sweetener, but it's actually the powdered version. So it's going to be just like powdered sugar. I have about 3/4 of a cup. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Just like that, 1, 2. Now I'll stir those together. I like this little whisk because it has thin wires. It's going to get very thick, but then we're going to add a little bit of water. So just about a tablespoon at a time. I start with 1. It will probably need 2. But I don't want it to get too thin, and I want it to have that maple flavor. I'm just sort of blending this in as I stir and picking up the edges. That actually looks pretty good just like that. You know, here in Florida it gets very humid, and sugar is a liquefier. It's not a thickener. So as soon as it hits liquid, it's going to melt. And humidity is considered liquid. So we always end up with things just a little less liquidy than we would like. We have to compensate for that. That's my next recipe. Oh, these look fabulous. This is going to be batwings. I'm going to set them aside for just 1 second while we finish everything else, and then I'll show you how to make this sauce. Let's see how our hot dogs are doing. That's perfect. See how they have this nice crispy finish? You want the bacon to be crispy and the hot dog to be just right in the center. So we just keep turning them until they're completely cooked. Now we've got our coleslaw ready, our frosting glaze ready, and I wanted to show you, I added a little purple color to some icing that I made earlier, and we're gonna drizzle the donuts with this. have these out of the way and show you how that works. I have some donuts already done, and they came out so cute, and they're delicious. So let me show you how to decorate these. Put my other piece on. So this is how our donuts look, all baked and finished. Nice smooth top from the pan, giving it a nice mold. And I'm just going to, actually that got a little thick. Let's add a little more water to that. Hot dogs are looking really good. I'm just turning them so the sides are done and they don't look like they have a bare spot, an uncooked spot. I'm gonna stir that extra water in. Monk fruit is a natural fruit that was discovered in Asia, and it's dried and pulverized and mixed with an alcohol sugar called erythritol. So it's 0 calorie, but it's sweeter than actual sugar, and it's not artificial because the sugar alcohol is natural and the monk fruit is natural. So it's a little kind of toasty color from the maple syrup. Just gonna dip this in and kind of wave it around a little bit and pull it right out. And there's my frosting, my glaze. And it is a little translucent. When it dries, it does thicken up a little bit. It also likes to soak in a little, so if you like to dip them twice, you can do that. So there's the other one. And now I'm going to take my colored frosting. I have a little baby pastry bag that I made here. Just going to put a little teaspoon of this right inside. Just enough to drizzle on the tops of these guys. And I'll get my knife so I can cut the tip off. Give that a little snip like that right there. I want it to be very skinny. And I'm just gonna streak these like this, back and forth. It's so purple, it almost looks black. And I have some fun candies. These are not the healthiest option, but it's Halloween. These are green and red sprinkles. Just kind of let those fall where they may. And the final touch, little candy spiders. These are so cute. And I just get these at the local craft store. Aren't they fun? Little candy spiders. And there's my adorable and delicious chocolate pumpkin donuts. And I have this fun plate to serve them on. I don't know how many of you are doing anything this year for Halloween, or if you're able to get together with people you know, but this is a really fun thing to share. And it sounds like our hot dogs are done. And I'll show you how I'm going to plate these up. They have the perfect color all the way around. And this is what I like to do. Oh, and that sounds like our donuts. Let me take a look at those. Everything's happening at once. I love when everything comes up together. Those are just going to need about 2 more minutes. And they got nice and puffy and they look awesome. So there's 2 ways that you can plate up these hot dogs. I love these little paper boats. You can pick them up at a party store. I've got a couple of romaine leaves in here. And the other way you can do it is really street food style, just in a piece of foil. I've just cut a little piece of foil and done the same thing, put a couple of romaine leaves here. And I'm gonna scoop this Asian slaw. Don't worry, all these recipes are already on the website. Right into the center. Who doesn't love a hot dog with slaw, right? And the Asian flavors blend really well with the hot dogs. And I have a feeling there's a couple of guys in their offices, work from home offices, who will be coming out to enjoy hot dogs for lunch. How fun is that? Asian street food. Not really. Tina's version. And you can wrap it up and eat it just like that. Oh, let's not forget the sriracha. Just gonna give it a little kick. You've seen me make these before, but I think for Halloween, these mummy dogs are just a great, fun Halloween option. And I'm gonna get another plate here. I'll just put these like this next to each other so you can see these two. And I'll be right back so we can make the sauce. Grab my other skillet. And there's our donuts. They got nice and puffy. When I pop them out, we'll let them cool a little bit, and when I pop them out, they're gonna have that nice mold shape on the bottom. And we decorate them just like the ones I showed you. And they smell amazing with that pumpkin spice and that little bit of cocoa powder. Great combination. Now I'll show you the batwings. We'll start with the sauce. Get some of these things out of the way and get my next recipe for you. I love my speed rack. It keeps me on top of things. Everything's organized. We call it mise en place in the kitchen. Everything in its place. So first we're going to start this yummy wing sauce, which also has a little bit of an Asian flair, with some ghee. I have 2 tablespoons of ghee. Just gonna put right into my pan. Just like that. And to that, I'm going to add 2 or 3 cloves of garlic. And you guys can't see what I'm doing, so let me move this over. There we go. We've got some Reds, which has no sugar, original hot sauce, makes a great wing sauce. A little bit of honey. You don't need the honey. You can leave it out if you're doing Whole30. I like the way it caramelizes the sauce. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit in. This is the ghee I'm always talking about. Ghee is just clarified butter. I buy the Thrive Market brand. It's grass-fed, so the cows were fed grass, nothing artificial, no any bad ingredients. And I love this. And I use it for everything, sweet and savory. I'm just turning the heat down a little bit because I want the garlic to get a little toasty, but not burned. Is anybody here with me today? Let's see who's here. Got lots of hearts and thumbs up. Thanks, everybody. And I'm going to show you another little quick trick that I love. This is just a little hand grater. You can use it for cheese. I just break off a piece of the ginger and I grate it right into the pan. And here's what happens. All of the skin and the stuff you don't want stays on top. And the ginger is on the bottom. And I'm gonna do about a tablespoon of fresh ginger. Now most people like their party wings. They don't like the wings in one piece. But I love the wing tips because they get so nice and crispy. And the chicken skin, when it's done in the air fryer, there's just really nothing like it. All that fat renders out and you get nothing but that fun layer of crispy skin. Now to this I'm gonna add 1 cup of the coconut aminos, which has the wasabi, very slowly, and about 1/4 cup of the Red's hot sauce. And also what I added to that coconut aminos was just about a tablespoon of the fish sauce, because as you know, I like to add the fish sauce to balance out the coconut amino sweetness and to give it just a little more umami flavor. And then just about not even a tablespoon of the honey. You can see that's going to come to a quick boil. Now that I have the liquid in, I can turn it up and not worry about my garlic burning. And I just want this to reduce and become a nice glaze, thick sauce. And that's going to come together in no time. So while that's doing that, let me talk to you about my wings. These wings are, as I said, the full chicken wing. They have the wing tip attached. So a wing is 3 parts. You have the wing tip, that middle part that's kind of like the elbow, right? The forearm, whoops. And then the drumstick part, and that's the part that attaches to the chicken. So this basically is an arm, okay? Most of the time when you get wings in a restaurant or when you buy them in the store, it's cut here and the wingtip is removed. But doesn't it look like a bat wing? I think they're so fun for Halloween. So we're gonna do bat wings. And this is starting to reduce already. I cooked the wings in the air fryer at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. That's all it takes. In the oven, it would be 400 degrees or even 425 for 40 minutes. I'll turn them halfway in between. So the skin side up first, they get a nice opportunity to get nice and crispy. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but they are so crispy on the outside. And then when the sauce goes on, it becomes a nice crispy and sticky glaze. And it will get sticky without the honey. I just like to add the honey to make sure that it has that little extra sweetness. So now these are pretty much done. The sauce looks great and it smells amazing. I'm getting that delicious ginger and toasty garlic. And you can see how it's gotten nice and syrupy. So now I'm gonna do is put the wings right into this pan. If you're cooking a bunch of wings, you can put the sauce into a bowl and then just toss them. I'm just gonna roll them around in this a little bit. It could have actually gotten a little thicker. I like it to look like a glaze. And I'll just put these on this pretty platter so they look nice and spooky. And they're just as easy to eat as any other wing. And if you don't like the bat wing idea, you can just use regular party wings that are already cut up for you. And you can see this sauce makes a lot. It's way more than I need for these few pieces of chicken that I'm showing you today. I'll probably cook some more wings in the oven later and use up the rest of this sauce because they're delicious to reheat too. If you're doing some food prep and you just like to have some good nutritious snacks around, what's wrong with chicken wings? It's a butter-based sauce. The chicken has just the right amount of fat and protein. You feel satiated right away. These are not from some crazy bar that make you feel like they're not even really meat anymore. I'll show you one last piece to this fun concept, my little take on bat wings. Black sesame seeds. I like to just put regular sesame seeds whenever I do this recipe, but for Halloween, they look like so much fun with the black sesame seeds. They're delicious, they're nutritious. We've got a delicious snack that we can serve to people if they come by for Halloween or just to your family. We've got these amazing mummified hot dogs on coleslaw, served street style, and the delicious pumpkin chocolate donuts with monk fruit glaze. I hope you enjoyed everything that I cooked today. You know how to reach me if you ever have any questions. livingdeliciounutrish.com. Drop me a note. Look for my videos on YouTube. I have the Living Delicious Nutrish channel on YouTube. You can subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm so glad you're with me today. Have a wonderful day.